General manager or front desk manager, 5 things you do to increase the profitability of your property and maximize room efficiency. 5 things. So, in the lecture, you talk about that we need to think about when it isn't summer, it isn't spring break. I think the prime idea is to first things first. Where am I and what would attract people to my location in the off season? If I was using California for the off season, I would look at things like the convention schedules that happen in June, but that's kind of a main time. So maybe the idea of sporting events and sporting seasons maybe make some appeal to that idea. If somebody wants to go to a Gulls game and I'm working in Anaheim or San Diego and they like to follow local baseball or football, I would look at that. I would also try to match up my times with major concerts, group events, music festivals, things like that. Those are the things I would focus on making off-season sales during that time, a months before that time when people would be booking in that area. So um, let's say for example, it's baseball season, and I'm working in San Diego, and people are fans of Padres because they hate themselves. I would make sure that I would offer sales and deals during major games of that season so that people can come down, maybe stay overnight after a game instead of going home for a good rate or a nightly rate at my hotel. And if the Padres win, everybody gets a free continental breakfast or $25 spending at our concession store, or they get a extra 15% discount if they stay the night after a major game or the day after a major game. So if they wanted to stick around, they can easily get 2 nights, one regular, and then we'll prorate them another night, maybe 15 or 10%. So number one, match up with what is popular in my area, either concerts, music festivals, conventions, sporting events, things like that. Find out what attracts people to come here. If it's something along those lines. Another thing that I would actually focus on is online. I think online is the most important for hospitality and will be the most important for hospitality in there. Are my pictures up to date? These are the times that I would actually, during the lull times and things like that, these are the times I would work on renovations, fresher looks, carpet cleanings, things like that to make the place look fresher and newer. Um, so during the off season like that, the pictures that I put up will look good or better than when someone gets there. It'll be great word of mouth. At my front desk, I would have little like QR codes for reviews and concessions and things like that. Maybe offer enter into a drawing if you leave a review on our website, because you can't buy review. It's tacky to buy reviews off of the major sites, but it's not hard to get those reviews on the other sites after they put them on your website. So that will be something along those lines. Incentives during the off season to make sure, because during the on season, it's a buyer's market. They're going to some amount of time, especially here in California, where it's everything outside that's around. When you come into the seasonal side of it, people just need a place to sleep, not a place to basically. If you're not a resort, you are a bed and a place to stay, and you're trying to make that stay enjoyable, but it's not the main focus that people are going for. So number two, make sure that you have uh, a solid online presence, and you use the off season to make your place look nicer, freshen it up, renovate it. A new coat of paint can do wonders for a new person. Number three, during the off season, I would relax the ability for things like pets. A lot of people like to travel during the off season for vacations, maybe with pets. And pet friendly hotels are good year round. People look for those things year round for trips. visiting family, bring a dog, things like that. It's the off season, so the idea of being able to get that little bit of extra by promoting the idea of a pet deposit at a cheaper rate than normal. So it's off season, so I'm not going to get a lot of business. Let's say, for example, my usual pet deposit is like, I don't know, $50 a night, right? Maybe instead, what I'll do is I'll do $25 a night for a pet deposit on my off season, because I'm not going to get a lot of money for rooms now, but I'm making it more likely for them to come in and buy a room from me if they're looking for a pet friendly hotel. And it's my off season, so I won't have to deal with the fact that people might be upset about animals in the hotel as they would be on a normal season. And if I don't offer pets normally at all, my off season I would open the doors for pets, make it a pet friendly hotel for that time. Now, that's a bigger deal. I would have to do that with a general manager thing. But if it was an independent hotel, I would probably, during on season, I would probably put a very high premium on a pet deposit, maybe $100 a night, and then put it down to maybe like $75 to $50 a night on the off season, or some sort of deal like that. So 3, open it up to pets. Number 4, oh gosh. So number four, I would offer things to people who are in certain jobs, professions. I would make my places available on things like Airbnb, things like that, extended stays. I would offer long-term contracts to people who do remote work. For example, the construction worker, the businessman, the person like that. I would offer ex- group rates for a foreman to say I need 12 workers from out of state, which is very common to happen, working on this project for the next 6 months. Great. Come to our apartment. To come to our hotels. We'll get you an extended stay on the off season of these 3 months here for a very good rate, like a very competitive good rate. On season, I wouldn't want that, because because I have to keep the room prices the same during my on peak season, but that will change from month to month based on the tourism that comes in. My rack rate will change. So during the off season, I would offer more straight routes like that, flat rates for that, and better deals for people who are in working and profession. I would also, and this is just me personally, but I would also probably offer it to people who work in the medical field and teachers. Okay, because here's the thing. Um, if a teacher it gets to take a vacation during like track school, or for a long weekend when students aren't in school, but it's not like an official holiday, I would offer that for that, or people who work in the medical field, because they usually aren't able to take a lot of holidays off. So they usually take their time during the seasons that I would be on my off season. So maybe offering a nursing discount or a medical discount and things like that. So that's 4. Now, people will also say a military discount, but I'm not a big supporter of that. I'd want it to be focused on not military, but focus it on the idea of the healthcare field and things like that, because those people are underappreciated, and those people will keep it in their mind talking to their friends that my hotel will take care of them on any given time during the off season of holidays, because everybody does military. Everybody does it. It's too much. But I want to be the place that nurses and doctors and pediatricians and orderlies and people who work with the elderly talk about. CNAs, LVNs, that sort of thing. I want them to talk about it, because they take vacations on weird schedules. So that's number 4. Apply to professions. And then number five, let me get to it. Okay. So number 5, I would also offer something along the lines of my staff. This is the time that I would give my staff the ability to take vacation time. We don't get in the hospitality world to take traditional vacation. So I would make a deal with the other hotels in the area to offer sweetheart rates to my staff and myself to stay at these other places. Now, this has 2 points here. 1, this makes me have goodwill for other staff in the area. I offer you better rates then I'll give you my employee discount at my hotels. Now, I'll ask the other hotels to do the same, and if they say no, that's totally fine, because then when their staff comes to me, they see how it goes and they go and tell their bosses how I'm doing. And that has a trickle down effect. If this person is not happy, if this person is highly skilled and not happy at the place because their bosses or whatever the reason is, they might look favorably to me. And even though I'm not making a profit off of them, I'm building the goodwill in the industry with them. So if they come along and they might need a chef or a good bellhop or another good front desk manager or a maintenance worker comes to me, well, they know that I take care of their guests. I don't even just take care of my employees. I take care of other people in the industry's employees. And that right there, that puts a good word on everybody's mouth. When they make suggestions on I want a place to stay, I might come up in conversations. Word of mouth is the most powerful thing hospitality has. Word of mouth. It's why we're being beaten by things like Airbnbs and things like that, because word of mouth is crucial. So those are my 5 things. 1, being able to actually offer competitive room rates. 2, being able to do pet friendly around the time. And 3, offering deals to teachers and other workers like that. 4, long-term contracts to construction workers and things like that during my off seasons for a good room rate. And 5, being able to offer the idea of better rooms and rates and deals with other people in the industry, maybe working with the other independent hotels to do that so that my staff can get time off. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.